How much pressure is on Matthew Stafford?
Matthew Stafford, that much. Zero pressure. Seriously, did you play football? Like, in your third game in a new system, a little baby in that system, Matthew Stafford, who's never won a playoff game in his career, goes to a new team, new system in the third game. Hey, come here, Matthew. I know you barely learned to walk in this system, but go out there and beat the Super Bowl champions. Oh, yeah, by the way, they've gotten better. No pressure on Matthew Stafford to go out there and do it. Now, if he does it, amazing. If he doesn't do it, hey, we're not going to fault you, Matthew Stafford. So therefore, if there's no consequence, there's no pressure. You got to be careful in this world for having high expectations, but still asking too much too soon. I want to meet those expectations that fast. You got to be careful about running the marathon like it's a sprint. But I know a lot of people out there don't want to take that advice, and they say, if I see it, I'm going to take it. Okay. I'll give you a couple examples. One, right here, looking at you. You popping right now. You popping. You hot. I got a couple of homegirls in the DMs tomorrow. What's up with Acho? And it's just sitting there. I ain't going to respond to that because I know you. You ain't worth it. Here's the real. Here's the real. Here's the real. You popping right now, Acho. I know you are. But be careful. Be careful. Want it all. Take it in bite-sized bits. And you have been. Over time, it's been progressing. But not all at once, right? Not all in week 3. I got a couple boys that I gave them some friendly advice. You know, I told you, when I go out to lunch or brunch, as they want to do it, they bougie, I'm not the one to just keep passing the hors d'oeuvres. I'm talking the real. I'm going to stop the hors d'oeuvres from passing. Hey, bro, don't do that. I had 2 boys, younger. I told them, don't get married, man, not yet. I'm married. I know what it looked like. And they're like, no, this the one. This one. I said, it could be the one, but this ain't got to be the time. And they're like, no. Fast forward a few years, guess what? Both getting divorced. Not because of my advice, because they didn't take it. But the point is, sometimes you just can't want it all, Acho, as soon as you see it. Matthew Stafford, no pressure. If you win, hit them with those claps. But if you don't, it's all good, bro. We got a long season.
Strong take. Right, that amends the take of your first lap, or first block. Matthew Stafford has a boatload of pressure this weekend because he has the pressure of perception. So I'm not going to be too hyperbolic because I just can't afford to do that. But I joked and said Stafford is a fringe Hall of Famer, right? Stafford's one of the greatest quarterbacks of this generation by talent, but he ain't won nothing yet. Ain't really beat nobody. Ain't got no marquee victories. We can think about Aaron Rodgers' marquee wins. We can think about even Patrick Mahomes in his young career, a marquee comeback victory over the Ford. We can think about marquee wins, Russell Wilson, the great quarterbacks. Stafford, you ain't got no marquee victories, big dog. You came to L.A. to win these games. That's what Matthew Stafford came for. Stafford didn't come to L.A. to beat the Chicago Bears with Andy Dalton at quarterback. Stafford didn't come to L.A. to beat the Indianapolis Colts without Carson Wentz in their final possession. Stafford came to L.A. to win championships. But in order to win championships, you're going to have to defeat the champion in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Stafford is 0-3 in the playoffs. What is making him Hall of Fame adjacent and not Hall of Fame for certain is his lack of meaningful wins versus meaningful teams in meaningful moments. So, Stafford, if you came to L.A. to win playoff games, it behooves you to beat playoff teams. Because as it stands right now, the Colts at 0-2 don't look like a playoff team. The Bears, not knowing who their quarterback is, don't look like a playoff team. Stafford, you came here to rewrite your own legacy. And your legacy is you can have a great arm, you can pass for a lot of yards, but you can't win meaningful games. This sell to me, even in week 3, is a meaningful game.
Interesting. I'm going to agree with some of that because in perception, it will look bad to some who won't dive deeper than the shallow end of the pool. Why would it look bad? Because Jared Goff beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. And people will look at that and say, well, if you're better than Jared Goff, then obviously you should help beat the Tampa Bay Bucs this year. That's not how it rolls, bro. Last year, you had the #1 defense. This year, you look at this defense, especially running the ball against them, they are 20th ranked. Cats are gashing. Chicago went up and down the field gashing them in terms of the run game. This is not the same defense, obviously not the same defensive coordinator, despite having a lot of the same talent. So in perception, it can skew the reality. The reality is it's about performance to get to the outcome. Take performance streets to the outcome on the boulevard. And if you're Matthew Stafford, you got to just continue to have great performances. Great performances that have you 3rd in passer rating this season. great performances that has your team in the situation of being undefeated. Let's talk about this, though, because I love you, and I'm starting to know through osmosis, even when I'm prepping, how you gonna prep. You know what I'm saying? I know you're gonna wear the shades, and if they look good, you're gonna wear them again, and look at you, you're back at it. And I know if you popping yesterday with the fit, you're gonna take it even riskier, and here's the bow tie, my brother. So I know you're gonna come out like that. But I'm a historian of this game, so it's hard to move me, man. You know, I'm a purist. I remember in 2011 when Eli Manning lost to the defending Super Bowl champion Green Bay Packers, and then himself still won that Super Bowl. I remember, for you young schoolers, are you Gen Z or millennial? I don't
Millennial.
know. Millennial?
Some respect on my age, coach.
Look at y'all. Y'all went from Christian Bloods to Gen Zs. Like, who banging out here talking about we a group? Anyway, let's talk about last year when Tom Brady lost to the defending champion Chiefs. And who ended up winning the Super Bowl? Tom Brady, the loser of the game against that same Kansas City team. Bruh, if you think there's a lot of pressure on this game, you haven't been studying. You haven't been watching. You haven't been looking. Our game says you can recover, like Tampa Bay did last year against the Chiefs and like Matthew Stafford can against this team.
But still, I don't think the two things are mutually exclusive. And let me pause. Because you know what makes our show different, what I would like to say is better than other shows, is that we don't have to meaningly and mindlessly argue.
Nah,
we don't just argue for argument's sake. Nah. I think you're fully right in the aspect that you can recover from a situation that doesn't necessarily go your way, like Eli Manning did when he lost to the Packers to go back and win.
Thanks.
But just because you can recover from a situation does not relieve the pressure in that moment of the situation. I'm fully co-signing your take, and in my full take, I don't think is necessarily disagreeing.
Okay.
Stafford can for sure lose this game and go on to win a Super Bowl. He can lose this game, go on to meet the Bucs in the NFC Championship game and win a Super Bowl. In life, you can fall down, you can get up, fall down again, and you can still end up winning. Mm-hmm. However, in that moment, there is still pressure. And in this moment for Stafford, there's still pressure because you brought up Goff. Stafford hasn't done anything Goff couldn't do thus far this season. Beat the Bears with Andy Dalton. I think Goff could have beat the Bears with Andy Dalton. I think Goff could have beat the Colts without Carson Wentz for that final drive with the game on the line. With Jacob Eason going out there
Goff could do that in Detroit, then. I mean,
but I'm saying I think that Stafford is yet to do something Goff couldn't do. But in this moment, this season, because yes, Goff beat the Bucs last season. And this moment in this season with the Bucs looking good, having won 10 straight games dating back to last season, I don't think Goff could do it. But Stafford can. So Stafford, if we traded Goff plus 2 first-round picks for you, then it's time for you to do what he couldn't do. And that can happen in this moment.
Or do what he did and do it better.
Sure.
Right?
Either way.
We over here, a little semantics, but still, Jared Goff lost to your Eagles and then went out there and won 13 games and 2 playoff games. So just do that and do better. You can lose to the Bucs. Win us 13 games. We ain't tripping. Win us some playoff games. Get us to the Super Bowl. And then finish the deal, right? But finishing the deal doesn't happen at the start of the deal. You don't even know. I'm a late bloomer. I've lived through this. When people say it's pressure right now. Every weekend I go out there with my kids and they go to their activities that I told you they just started soccer games. No more practices, no more skills, games. Like, we don't know them kids over there. Let's go get it. And you can just hear it already. Parents think their kids going pro just because their kids scored a goal. I'm like, looking at the parents, I'm like, if he turned out like y'all, he ain't going nowhere. You better be happy with little man out here getting these goals. But I got a blind spot, so I do want to talk like our show is different. I have never felt pressure. Like, I don't know how to properly term pressure. I know responsibility. I know I'm the only option, but I don't know what pressure is, because if there's a consequence that's grave, okay, maybe that's pressure. But what is pressure to you? Because I swear I don't feel it.
Pressure to me is a imminent consequence in the imminent moment.
Consequence, right?
Yes.
So what's the consequence?
The consequence to me for Stafford is at least the imminent thought of, man, was he worth those 2 first plus Goff? At least the thought of, man, Stafford still can't win big games. Let me give you this. I don't know why I saved it thus far.
2-1 is a consequence?
Stafford is 10-59 in his career versus teams that went on to make the playoffs. 10-59 versus teams that went on to make the playoffs. At least in this very particular moment, if you lose to another playoff team, now we looking, at least for now, like, you know what, Stafford? It's just you. You look good, you got swag, the arm sleeve is hella swaggy, you look the part, All-American, But dang, 10-60 is what he would be, assuming the Bucs go on to make the playoffs. First teams to go on to make the playoffs. I say it like this, Sel. Did you take the SAT or ACT? I don't even know.
SAT.
My dog, you took the SAT. To me, there is pressure in that moment taking that standardized test, that SAT or that ACT. Because that and how you do on that test, it can dictate where you go to college.
Unless you're a 5-star.
Sure. But even if it can dictate where you go to college.
That's facts.
But here's the kicker. To your point, in theory, you can take the SAT again.
Oh, hell yeah.
And you can take the ACT again. But there's still pressure at the moment in which you take that test because it can dictate something imminently. Not to say you can't take it again, not to say Stafford can't play the Bucs again, but at least on Sunday, there's going to be pressure on that primetime game on Fox because, yes, he could take it again, but boy, if you pass this test, you got a little bit of relief for the moment.
What's that word you keep saying, like Emmitt Smith? What is it? Imminently? What is it?
Eminent.
Emmitt Smith.
Eminent.
See, this is my problem. I'm such an internal optimist. As soon as I fall down, I'm like, oh,
Let me get up.
I'm up there again so fast. Look, why does he have to be 10-60 after this game? Why can't he just be 0-1? You know how it goes. Like, you've done shows with other dudes, and you're doing this show now. It's like a different fight. I don't give a damn if that was better or this is worse or whatever you want to call it. We're going to fight different. And Matthew Stafford just has to know, at least in his mind, cleanse yourself, brother. You're not 10-59. You're 0-0 and potentially 0-1. It ain't that serious.